portion, like Sam read, it's one that I think from Sunday school we've heard it and we're very familiar with it, and that's where there is always a catch. Because when we're very familiar with a passage and we've heard somebody else talk about it, we often don't realize what God is speaking to us from a passage. So my request to you guys is listen to the message, but also go home and read it for yourself and see what God is speaking to you. So the first thing, I'll just give you an overview of it. I know we read the passage, but I'd like to give you a little bit of context and overview. When you talk about wine, in those days, that was the culture. The wine was safer to drink than water. So even in households, instead of water, they would have wine. Okay, because the water was not very safe. You could use it for other things, but not for drinking. And they had grapes. So they would make wine. Just like olives were there for oil, they would have grapes. And I've never been, but I've heard, if you've ever been to Israel, the olives and the grapes are not like the small ones that's there in the picture or we see. They are huge. That's the blessing of God that they have. Okay? So the first thing we see is Jesus is going to a wedding. He's going to a wedding and he's been invited along with his disciples and his mother and the family, because the last verses, his brothers, sisters were all there. It could be his own or his cousins. There's a lot of thing about all of that, but that's not the focus of our message today or even the passage. Okay, so we're seeing that he's been invited and he goes there. So it's actually on a hill. Cana is on a hill. So they actually a journey. And it says 3 days on the third day. Now this is chronology as far as John. Again, the 3 doesn't hold much significance as such. It's just that Jesus is starting his ministry. So you see him get baptized with John the Baptist. John the Baptist calling him the Messiah, identifying him as the Messiah. All of that we see. And then we see Jesus coming to Cana to attend a wedding. So now Jesus was ministry focused, but he didn't also not take part in celebrations. Okay. And we also see that, I believe, because the disciples, Jesus, Mary, and the family were invited, it was somebody known to them, pretty well known. In Israel, a wedding function or a celebration would be for a week. And the entire village would be called. So if they call the entire village, then they're calling all the near and dear ones also, right? So Jesus was not living there, so he's come up there. So he's an invitee there, and he's come with his disciples and his family, okay? As the celebrations are going on, so it's not a one-day event, it's a week-long event, so we don't know when the celebration started and what day it is. Mary notices, okay, that the wine is over, it's run out. And that is a matter of dishonor, because when you call guests, you can't say my food's run out, right? Or, the juice is run out, or, even when we do the Sunday combined service, and we ask people to say, how many of you are coming, because we don't want the food to run out. It's okay if it's more, but we don't want to waste it either. We just want to get the right amount. So here, whatever has happened, the wine has run out. And I think I am assuming, okay, this is not there in the Bible, but I'm assuming the servants might have been murmuring, saying, we're going to ask for more wine, where are we going to go? And Mary might have passed by that side and she has noticed, right? Now, and like I said, it's a matter of dishonor. So what happens? Mary quietly goes up to Jesus and says, they've run out of wine. And when you look at the English version, right, it says woman. It might look like he's being respectful. No, he's like more a detached way of saying, it's a very simple thing. Why are you talking about this? I've come to do greater things. This is not of that significant. They just run out of wine. They can always go get some, or, it's a very simple situation that can be handled. But Mary is very clear, she tells him that, he says this, why are we bothered? It's more a common thing of, why are both of us being bothered about this? We shouldn't be bothered about this, let's go about our business. Very clear. Mary's his mother, brought him up for so many years, knows him in and out. Every mother knows her son in and out, right? So she doesn't say anything to him. You and I might have argued with our son, I am telling you to do, you're not doing. Mary doesn't do all that, right? She quietly goes to the servants and says, do whatever he's asking you to do. So I was also looking at, how much trust she has on Jesus, that I've not even told him do something about it. I've only said, hey, wine's run out. But indirectly, Jesus knows mom is asking me to do something, right? And she also in her thing of the mother says, he's going to do, I've asked him, he's going to do. So it tells the servants, do what he's asking you to do. And sure enough, Jesus goes to the servants, looks at the pots, fill up water. They have no clue what's happening. He's instructed, Mary has said do, they are also instructed. And servants are normally used to doing what they are instructed without asking questions. So they fill up those 6 pots. 20 to 30 gallons in liters, 30 gallons each into 6 is how much? 180, right? 6 into 3, 180. My math is good. Okay. It's about 450 odd liters. Okay, that's the calculation in liters, because gallons didn't make sense to me also, and every version kept saying gallons. Like, how much in liters? So I went and did the calculation. It's about 454 liters or so, almost 500 liters. That's how I would take it at. And then he says he doesn't even do anything. I'm thinking, if maybe we were trying to do something, we would have done like abracadabra or some thing. He doesn't do anything. He tells them to fill it up. They fill it up. He says take what. He doesn't even take water out of it. He says draw out of it, because it's already turned to wine. They also have no clue. I'm sure they didn't look into it. They didn't see. They just took a jug, took out whatever was there in it, went up to the master of ceremony. It says master of steward, master of ceremony is normally the guy who's kind of handling the whole thing, organized the whole thing. Like these days it would be an event manager, okay? And goes there and give it to him, because he must have called for wine. And he normally sips before giving it to the guests. So he sips and he's like, this is much better than what we've had for these past few days. So he calls the bridegroom, because the bridegroom was the one who would have arranged this. Because the bridegroom would have gone, brought the bride home, and in that village is where the celebration is going to be happening. And then he tells the bridegroom, what is this? Normally people will serve the first new wine or costly wine or tasty wine beginning. Then when people, they're not drunk. Please understand, they're not drunk. They're just that, your palate, once you had too much, it gets numb, right? I mean, you don't taste much. Then they'll give the, cheap wine or the not so good tasting wine. But here you're doing the opposite. Till now, we've had all the cheap wine. Now, this wine is so amazing. It's the best. I've never tasted something like this, is what he's saying. All of them are clueless. The master of ceremony is clueless. The bridegroom is like, where did this come from? I don't know. I bought the same wine only. Why this is tasting better than the other? I'm sure this is all running through his mind. And then, but the servants know, because the servants were the ones who filled it up and brought the, jug to him. And then it says, nobody knew that. Who knew? The disciples. This was the first thing that Jesus did in his ministry. When he starts his ministry, till now, things are being done to him. Like he's having his baptism. John is identifying him. The dove comes down on him. He's not done anything as such, except go to John and say, baptize me. So the first act on his own that he's doing is turning water into wine. It's a miracle or a sign. And it says to reveal his glory or his heavenly power or his deity. And who see it and believe? The disciples. And how many of them are there? He's not called all the 12. There are about 4 to 6 of them over there. They see this or hear about it, and then they start believing. And that is significant, because Jesus didn't start with a flamboyance. He didn't all suddenly feed the 5,000 and say, okay, now come follow me. He wanted those 5 people to believe and follow him. That's it. They had already were his disciples. The first time you see his disciples being given. Till then it's John the Baptist's disciples. You see they're already following him, but they believe even more that he is the Messiah, because they see this sign. Because nobody could have done it. Because making, we can do grape juice, we can have concentrate, add water and be done with it. But making wine is a long process, right? It takes years to actually get good tasting wine. If you've gone through if you've ever seen a process of grapes being turned to wine. So, it is a miracle, because it was water there, and by the time they took it out, I'm sure it was already converted, and they took it to the master of ceremony, so he tasted and he saw wine. So this is the context. And we're going to see 6 things from this message. Okay? The first thing I want to ask you is, or tell you, is go where you are invited. Go where you are invited. A lot of times we go where we are not invited, and then we are disrespected and everything happens. And the first thing is, when did God invite you? Because if the Lord had not invited you, right? It's not there, but I'm just saying, if the Lord had not invited you, you and I won't be sitting here today. You and I won't have a calling or a purpose today. Right? The day we gave our lives to the Lord is the day celebration started in our life. We should look at it that way. If Jesus came and he started at a celebration with a celebration, is because what he came to do was tough. But it was a cause for celebration, because it was the redemption of mankind. That is why even in Good Friday, we celebrate. We don't, sit and mourn. Because the third day is still there. And we look at it, this was the third day here. Okay, I'm not trying to connect anything here. There's nothing much of a significance. But if you look at it, It is something that we celebrate. And when you and I accepted Jesus as our Savior, heaven celebrated. Because every time one person turns to the Lord, heaven celebrates. Right? So our life, when we give it to the Lord, when we accept His invitation and give our life to Him, there is celebration in heaven. There's always celebration where the Lord is. Right? And the next thing is, where is your place of calling? Where has God called you to be? Whom has He called you to? There are certain people or a set of people or a place that God has called you to minister. Like I said, it could be your children, it could be your place of work, it could be church, it could be a mix of both, all of this. Are you aware of it? God is inviting you. If you are not aware of it, sit with Him today and ask Him. He will open the doors to you. Okay? And is He asking you to go to some place? A lot of times, like Jonah, no, God said, go to Nineveh, and he's like, no, I'm not going. And we are also sitting in that same thing. This is a very comfortable place. My family is here. I have everything. You're asking me to go someplace where I'm not going to be comfortable. I don't know anybody, or I might know somebody, but, right? Where is God asking you to go? Because Jesus went to Cana. He didn't sit somewhere and say, I'll send one WhatsApp message and wish them. Right? Earlier, those days we used to send phonogram. Remember, we'll pick up the phone and send one message. One telegram will go reach the couple. Okay? He didn't say all that. He went. He was invited and we went. So when we are invited by the Lord to go someplace, how are we going? Okay? And are the people known to you or unknown to you? Here, Jesus, I'm sure, knew those people. Or at least they were acquaintances or, distant friends. I don't think they were family or anything. Okay? And are there people whom the Lord has provided to you to walk with you along the journey? A lot of times when the Lord gives us something to do, we think we need to do it alone. A lot of times, yes, but in the sense when I'm saying walk with you, it could be through prayer, it could be to support you, it could be to guide you, it could be to mentor you, it could be just to pray for you. A lot of times we just need covering of prayer. Are we aware of these people? Do we reach out to these people? Do we go share with them, this is the challenge I face? Please pray for me, pray with me. You don't have to do it alone. The Lord, the Lord always wants us to work in fellowship and community. Very rarely He'll call you to do something on your own. Even then there will be one support system. Even without you being aware, He would have provided, because He would have put you on somebody's heart and they'll be praying for you. You won't even be aware of it. But we should be aware of it, or we should be praying for those people too, or telling the Lord to bless them. I always tell the Lord, don't just bless me, bless the people who are praying for me, who want good for me. When you keep saying, praying, bless me, it's very selfish. By blessing you, yes, a few people will get blessed through you, but why not God bless them directly? Our prayer should be that. So go where you're invited, okay? Know where you're invited, go where you're invited. If you're not invited, be happy, because you have only this much of energy and resources. You will use it in the best place when you go where you're invited. I know a few people in ministry who have gone to some place where they want to go, not where God has called them, almost like Jonah. And they're struggling, because God doesn't have to provide for you when you go to a place where He has not called you. You will be striving in your own strength. Everything will be a difficulty. I'm not saying when you go to a place where He has called you, it will be easy, but you won't strive in your own strength. There will be favor, there will be provision. It might come at the nth hour, or we think is the nth hour, but it could be also a test of our faith. Right? So go where you are invited. The second thing that we should be aware of is, what are we running out of? Because God, whenever He asks you to do something, He doesn't just say, get up now and go. There's always a planning involved. He says, write down what I'm showing you, and there's a plan. When, Moses was asked to build the tabernacle, the instructions were very clear and precise. What to be used, what wood, what material, everything was specific. Okay, same for the building of the temple. The dimensions, what to be used, everything was very clearly given, and when the people who were to do it were, gifted for that. It made sense to them. For you and me, maybe the directions wouldn't have made sense. The next person who built was Noah, or at least much earlier. Even the ark was very, very clear, because it had to take so many animals and 8 people, but so many animals, it would have been heavy, and it had to float, because water was going to be there. And because of that, the water couldn't seep in also. So it was very beautifully given by the Lord and how it had to be. And ultimately, God sealed it. Noah only closed the door. God sealed it so that the water won't go inside. God is a God of precision. So when He calls you to something, He will ask you to sit and plan it. We only jump in with all enthu and go without planning. Because when we don't plan is when we'll run out. Sometimes He will make it run out so that we trust Him and not, the things we are trusting on or the people we are trusting on. But anytime He calls you to do something, you need to sit and plan and prepare a budget, prepare what are the things you need, write it down. If you need help from somebody, go check it out with somebody. Like the other day, someone was telling me he said, I'm from a lower middle income group, I want to do business. And this person asking me to, give technical help in business. Okay, and I don't know if I should or not. I said, does that guy have a plan? No. I said, then on what basis are you even trusting that guy's, whatever he's saying is workable? Oh. He said, I also want to do a business. I said, do you have a plan? No. Do you have a budget? No. Do you know what could be the problems that you may face? No. Then he said, don't think about business. Because you have to, I'm not saying you have to know everything, from A to Z, but you need to think about A to Z. And then God will give you wisdom and help and everything. But you can't, even the Bible says, right, when you're building a house, make a plan, have a budget, know how much it's going to cost so that you have the money for it, you have the materials for it. You can't build halfway through and then say, okay, I don't have money now for anything, I have to leave it halfway through. You can't live in it, nor can you complete the project. And that's what we're seeing here. I'm not finding fault with the organizers, but they didn't plan for a week-long celebration. Because halfway through or somewhere the wine ran out. And so we need to be aware of what is running out, and we also need to plan that things don't run out. We can know maybe, okay, this is what I have. If I can't do this, where am I going to get it? Am I going to get a loan? Am I going to ask somebody? Are they going to give it to me? We should have a backup plan. Right? And that is what the planning is very, very important. Where is your focus? Now, they were all celebrating, and nobody was there to see if something had run out. If you've gone to a wedding, normally family members or friends will take over that. Okay, I had gone in Jan beginning for a wedding of a friend's daughter, and my son and I were taking care of it. So we were going and saying, hey, fill this up, they already had people, but from the family side, we were doing that. Because we don't want, again, people to say, oh, we came and hardly anything was there. There was enough food, so we ensured that it was being filled up and, people were not waiting too long and normally you do that. So that is planning. Right? So where is your focus? Is your focus only on the work? Are you looking at also what your resources should be? Yes, we trust the Lord. He will take care of things, but that doesn't mean we can, we can just spend any which way. What resources we have to be careful how we spend it. Right? And so where is your focus? Are you aware of what is running out? If you're not aware, are people around you not scared of you and you're approachable, they can come and tell you. I'm thinking the servants should have actually told the master of ceremony it's running out. Why did Mary have to see it and then tell Jesus? If they had planned well, there would have been somebody to see that it was running out and actually warn, not after it had run out, even before it had run out. Maybe the last pot of wine that was there, they should have gone and said, hey, we are at the last pot, do something about it. Isn't it? I knew of a lady who'd not have coffee because there was no sugar in the house. And I'm sure in the morning when you were making coffee, you knew the sugar was running out, right? You should have either bought it then or they'll be making a dish and halfway through, this is not that new main ingredient. Now Swiggy is there, we can order. Those days you had to go buy or somebody had to go buy and come and then you're making. So planning. When we're making something, we do that, right? We keep all the ingredients and then start making. We know it's there, it's not there. And almost like that. And if it's not there, are we approachable for people to come and tell us? In this case, the people were not approachable because the servants were talking about it. It was already over because they would have known it's getting over. And the master of ceremony was not approachable. People couldn't come and say. So never be a person who is not approachable, at least with your circle. People should be able to come to you with problems. Otherwise, it will become a crisis and then they'll come to you. You can't do anything. It's better to put off a spark than a fire. And even better, it is better to ensure the spark itself doesn't come than put out a fire. And that's what we're looking at here. Are we approachable? Be aware of what is running out. You have to have, I'm not saying micromanage, but overview as a leader or as somebody who's doing something, you should be aware of what's happening. Okay? The third point we see is when you run out of something, please don't go to people. Please don't go depend on yourself. Please ask the Lord. Because He's called you to do something. Okay? Ask the Lord for what you need or what is running out. Because He's the only true and reliable source. People will let you down. Things will let you down. Your own skill will let you down. The only person who will never let you down is the Lord. Okay? Trust the Lord to be your source. Don't trust your job. Don't trust your skills. Don't trust your business. Don't trust your inheritance. Please don't trust anything else. Because in this world, everything is temporary. Even you and I are temporary till we, when we go to heaven, it's thing. But we are not going to live here forever. So please don't trust anything else but the Lord. Because He is the only true and reliable source of all good things. You want bad things, trust everything else. But you want good things, don't want things running out, you want the right provision, please go to the Lord. When we pray, even in the Lord's Prayer, it says, give us today our daily bread. The minute it's bread, we can only think food. We are very, very focused on food. I'm sure today morning breakfast only, hey, watch for lunch. And then by the time we are doing lunch, it's like watch for tea and dinner. Then you have to be one snack in between also, no? Right? We're very food minded. So when it says bread, all we can think of is bread, butter, jam. Comfort food for a lot of us, no? It's not bread, butter also. It's bread, butter, jam. Right? So, no. When Jesus says bread, it is whatever you require for that day. Whether it's emotional, physical, mental, favor, money, who's the people you need to meet, everything comes under that bread. Okay? So when trust and so it's not just food, it's everything we need for that day. And let God be God. We have this habit, no? God doesn't know. I have to tell Him what I need, how I need, when I need, where I need. No. God is God. He knows your situation better than you do. He sees the bigger picture. He knows what is good, what is bad. So please don't give Him instructions. You can tell Him what you want, but don't instruct Him. Let Him be God. Let Him work out a solution for you, because His solution will be much better than our half-baked thoughts. Because His thoughts, it says, He will give us the best. When we ask, I like the Psalms because it says, I will not want. And today we saw even in 37, right? Gives you the desires of your heart. Whether it's what you're desiring or what He has put in your heart, you're asking, either which way. God loves us so much. He'll be laughing when we go and give Him one list. Lord, I want this, I want like this, I want like that only. You make it like this. He'll be like, that is bad for you. I don't want to give you, I want to give you something better. But no, we were stuck with what we want only. No, please don't give Him instructions, let Him be God. And let Him give you the solution, let Him give you the provision in His way. Because His will always be best. We will ask, from our level. Our level is small. He will give from His level, which is great. I would rather have this greatness than my smallness. Don't you? Won't you? So don't give Him instructions. Let Him be God. Okay? And then He will provide everything that you need and then some. He is a God of more than enough. He is a God who gives you more than you ask. Because He gives from His greatness. Where they were, I'm sure they would have been looking at a few bottles of wine or a crate of wine. He gave 500 liters of wine. They must have had it for a year later. Because you can't drink so much of wine even if you drink 2 tumblers every day. Okay? They would have had it for so long because it was like in the huge stone pots. Okay? And because Ephesians also says, right? Now to Him who is able to carry out His purpose and do super abundantly. Not just abundantly, super abundantly. More than all that we dare ask or think. Infinitely beyond our greatest prayer, hopes or dreams. Because ours is narrow, His is great. Okay? So think of that. So you can tell Him what you want. I'm not saying, the psalmist also says, Lord, I'd like this. Hit my enemy. All that they say. Nehemiah actually in one prayer he says, Lord, make them captives into another nation just like they're doing us. He's going up to that level. But then he says, Lord, you're gracious. Don't let us be put to shame. Don't, take care of us. We are your children. We can pray that. We can tell, I have prayed, Lord, hit them with lightning on their head. Give them one nice, hit on their head. Let them see sense. I've said that. Then I'll say, Lord, you do what is best because you know what it is. I think if you hit them on their head, they will see sense. Maybe they will not. But you do what, but this is what's in my heart. You can talk to the Lord. You can share your feelings. You can feel, Lord, I'm so angry. I feel like going and shaking somebody. You'll be like, yeah, I also feel like shaking, but that's not going to make sense. Let me work on them. So that is how it is. So he will do much better than greater than what we are looking at. Okay? And so it's because it's according to his power that is at work within us. So his power is greater than ours. So let's not put God into one vessel that we have which is small. Okay, let us give him free hand in our life so that he can do what he wants in our life, which will be much greater than what we can think or plan. So ask the Lord. Next is obey the Lord. Like Mary said, no, do what he asked you to do. And the verse says they did so. That's all. They didn't argue, they didn't question, they didn't doubt. They did so. That's all we also have to do. They did so. We did so. Full stop. Okay? So, can God rely on you to take care of his work? Because he's called you to do something. Can he rely on you? Or does he have to look for the alternative that he has in store? He knows whether you're going to do or not. But do you know whether you're going to do or not? Can he rely on you? Do you do what the Lord tells you to do immediately? The servants did so. The servants didn't even know Jesus. But they still obeyed him immediately. And it was not an easy task because if it's 30 gallons, they had to go wherever, carry water, come and fill. It was not like they had one tube and they put it in, no. They had to go carry smaller vessels, bring, pour. It would have taken about, at least 1 hour. 500 liters is not easy. So they had to do that and they had to do it immediately because the guy would be calling for wine and they had to take. Okay, and they were still skeptical. They wouldn't have known why wine this guy is asking us to fill water. And that too in ceremonial cleansing vessels. Okay, it was not even food grade thing. That was the vessels where, like in Tamil movies they'll show, there'll be one vessel with water, somebody will come from outside, they'll take little water, pour on their leg, pour on the end. That's how it was. But here it was not one kutti vessel, it was like one huge stone pot. Okay. So do we do what the Lord is asking us to do immediately? Because there are times we struggle with some stuff. When we don't obey him immediately, that is disobedience. Okay? So do we obey him immediately? Even I struggle at times. Okay? We are human. God knows that. That's why he's very gracious God. He doesn't hit us with lightning on our head. Okay? When we feel if the task is impossible, do we believe him? Do we trust him and do it? Okay? There's no wine. There's no wine already. It's not like we're running out. It's run out. And we know that water, those guys are wondering why water for wine. Okay? But still, they're filling. Do we do it when it seems impossible, doesn't make sense, do we do it? Even if the task is difficult, because they have to go carry water and bring it, right? Or we have to go from here to a place that is uncomfortable. Or where we know we are not going to be accepted by people because you're going to take like Jonah, no? You have to go to Nineveh and tell them God's going to take care of you guys in a negative way. Right? So are we willing to go to a place that will make us uncomfortable? And even if the task doesn't make sense, are we willing to obey immediately? I know we have not done it till now. Can we commit now from today to do it? Because again, we're not going to do it alone. God is going to be there with us to do it. Whatever he calls us to do, we are doing it in partnership with him. So can we, allow him to do it in our lives and through our lives? Okay? The fifth point we're going to see is give God what you already have. Because they had pots over there that was there and I just had to fill it. They didn't go, okay, let's go see which shop is open, let's go get the wine, let's go get grapes and make juice. No. What was there? Stone pots were there. What we had to do? Fill it. He used what was there. So whatever he has called you to do, right, he's already made provision for it. Either it's already in you or he'll provide it for you when you need it. So when he calls us to do something, he's already prepared everything that we need. The talents and everything we already have. We need to find out. The provision, it's already there. He will give it to us at the right time. Do we trust that? Okay, not our plans, but his plans when he is given. Okay, so that's why when Solomon had to build the temple, God had made David already collect all the wealth and everything that was required. Solomon had to only collect a little more and do, but he already had the basic stuff he needed. He didn't have to start from scratch. That's how it is for us also. When God calls us to do something, all the things we need is already there. May not be in your hand, it will be there. And when you start taking the step of faith and you start doing, the provision will come to you. Okay? Give God what you have. Because they gave the pot and the water and he turned it into wine. When you give what you have already to the Lord, he will transform it. He will turn it into what you need, into what you lack. Okay, or what you're running out. And our God is a good shepherd. I know I spoke about it a little earlier. Our God is a good shepherd. When we rely on him, we will not want. It doesn't say we will not need. Need is basic. Want is one step above. More than need. So it's more than what you need he's going to give you. Right? And the psalmist already says this. So the sheep are not just saying, oh, I had food for today. I don't know about tomorrow. It's not only food that they're given. They're given love, they're given warmth, they're given safety, they're given protection. The shepherd knows them by name. They know the shepherd's voice. There's so much more. Right? So when we give our God is a good shepherd. So when we go to him and when we rely on him, we will never want. So it's not even need. Oneness will not run out. If it is running out, he will ensure it is refilled. And it will be more than what we actually need. When we are using it wisely, that's also there. That's a rider I will use. Okay? We can't be irresponsible and expect God will keep refilling. We have to be responsibly using it for his work and then he will definitely bless. Okay? He is a God of more than enough. He is a God of abundance. We saw, super abundantly he will do. He is a God of abundance because he came to give us abundant life. Abundant life is without lack. Abundant life is with nothing running out. Okay? So he will give us the fullness of everything, right from joy. It starts with celebration, right? Like joy. It starts with joy and everything else we need. And he will never put us to shame or dishonor because we are his children and we bear his name. In fact, even with Israel, right? He was angry with them and he put them into exile. But I remember, I don't know if it was Ezra or Daniel, one of them says, in the prayer, he says, Lord, people are looking and talking bad about you because we are your people. Don't let that happen. And though they had to be punished, God still brought them out because he said, yes, my glory is also important. Because your actions are not glorifying me, honoring me, doesn't mean I should also do the same. So he says, okay, fine. But you still have to repent and come back. So we are his children. So to a large extent, he will not put us to shame. Isaiah 54:4 says that, I will not put you to shame. Okay? So if something is running out or something is going bad that will put you to shame and it's his work, he will raise you up. He will not let you be put to shame. He might take you to the brink like Job. Job's was a testing. So sometimes it could be a testing. You might be saying, Lord, I don't trust this. I trust you. He might take away that thing just to see if it actually was true for yourself. For you, he knows. He knows your heart, but he is also testing you to see whether you realize that you were depending on it or you are not depending on it. Because he wants him to be your source. Okay? And remember, all that we have is from him. Nothing we have is ours. Our life itself is something he has bought. He has ransomed it with his life. So where are we sitting and saying, no, it is mine, I will not give. All we have is his. He gives it for us to enjoy. It's not like he gives everything and says, no, give everything away. No, he's never like that. He says, give from what you have. I'll fill more. I'll give you more. The more you give, the more he'll give. Because if you can be the instrument with which he can bless others, why will he stop? It's only when you hoard it and say, okay, I am scared, this also will go, I'm not giving it to anybody, that's all you'll have. If you're a giver, the more you give, the more you get. It's not just money. It could be caring, it could be love, it could be encouragement, it could be in things, whatever it is that he's given you that you're giving. It could be encouraging others. I have found one of my gifts is encouraging people. I'll be encouraging people and I'll get encouraged in the bargain. I'll remember things that God has done for me. I'm like, oh, I forgot that. Thank you, Lord, for reminding me. And it wouldn't have come if I was sitting there and complaining and, saying, Lord, I'm going through this. The minute I pick up the phone and I'm encouraging others, I get encouraged in the thing. That's how it's with the Lord. Because He'll fill your cup. As you're pouring out, He'll fill your cup. You can't pour from an empty cup. Right? So all we have is from Him. So let us be good stewards. Okay? And be instruments so that He can work in us first and then through us. When it says, God comforts you so that you can comfort others. God teaches you so that you can teach others. God gives you so that you can bless others. Your gifts are for others. Everything that you have is for others only. Nothing is for yourself. And that's where we become instruments. That's how we become stewards, good stewards. And that's how we can show the world the love of God, the mercy of God, the grace of God. We can't be selfish and keep it to all ourselves. A lamp is lit and kept on a mountaintop because it is to light or show the way for others. Isn't it? If you keep a lamp somewhere on the hill but it's not lit, it doesn't make sense. It's useless. But if it's lit, it has to be on the hill. You can't keep it and cover it and keep it. It makes no sense again. Because light is to show the way, right? So the same. Whatever you have is for others. Bless others with this. Give. Don't hoard it for yourself. It is scary sometimes if that's all you have. Think about the widow. All she had was one meal from flour and oil. And what did she do? She gave it to the prophet. And what happened? Through the drought, 3 of them could eat and they had more. The vessel never ran out. She could have been selfish and said, no, my son and I, last meal, we are eating. Then it would have been last meal, she would have died. So that's all they were going to plan to do. Even then they didn't give food up. Huh? They were like, we'll eat and then die. But here they gave to what last they had and then the Lord ensured it never ran out. Right? So we need to be instruments and stewards of what God has given and let us give so that God can fill us up. Okay? And you can't pour into a full jug. Only in an empty jug you can pour. So the more you pour out, He will pour into you. And the last point is, God still does miracles. How many of us believe God still does miracles? Some people think miracles are stuck there in those days. No, He does miracles even today. In small ways, subtle ways, in major ways, big ways. I came to the Lord with a miracle in my life. He did healing. I'm a doctor's daughter. I didn't believe in miracles. I believed in medicine. But I remember I used to have a backache and I went to a prayer meeting in Karaikudi of all places. Sitting there and listening, and they said, come in front if you're looking for healing, and it was aching terribly on one side alone. It'd be like somebody's got a pickaxe and hitting me on that one spot. And I just got up and went and I said, Lord, heal. And I literally, as they were praying, I felt a hand come and remove it, and I haven't had a pain after that. And that's one of the many things He did to call me to Him. And after that, of course, there have been other stuff that He's done in my life. If I start now, we won't finish. I have to finish by on time. So God does miracles. If you don't believe, start believing today. Our God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He's an unchanging God. If He did miracles then, He will do miracles now. And He can do it for you. Okay? And He often does it quietly and subtly. Very rarely it's a flamboyant one. It is personal. He'll do it for you quietly in your prayer room or when you go for a meeting. Others may not even be aware of it. Because when the pain left, nobody else knew. I only knew. God knows, of course, but others around you, unless you tell them, they will not know. But Lord, and even here, only the disciples and the servants knew, and only the disciples believed, the servants didn't. A lot of times, it is for us to see and believe, just like the disciples believed. It's for our faith to get stronger. It's for revealing His glory, displaying His deity and power. It is not for our glory. Even if He does miracles through you, I'm coming to that point. Please don't take glory for yourself. It is not you. It is Him working through you. A lot of people start, taking the credit for themselves. I prayed, I fasted. No, you're an instrument God is using. Many of you come and tell me, your message was very powerful. It's not me, it's Him. If I've read this portion, I don't know how many times I've listened to it, but when I sat down to prepare the message yesterday, there were so many things the Lord showed me, which I've never seen before. It is Him and Him alone. You are instruments, He uses you. He uses your mind, He uses your experiences, He uses what you've read, what you've heard, what you've seen, everything. But it is Him using you. Let Him use you. Okay? He can do it for you. Do you perceive it? A lot of times, the miracle that's happening in our life, we don't even see. The very transformation of our life is a miracle. When you try to do it yourself, you can't do it. Think of, I want to give up eating this particular thing. That is when the temptation is more. But when you give it to the Lord and He touches you, you can give it up and it doesn't matter. I give this story. When I was a teenager, I used to love bindis and I used to keep color, big ones and all that. And I even remember fighting with the bishop for it because he said I'm Satan's daughter, and I like, okay, show it to me in the Bible. I was a typical rebellious teenager. My rebellion changed when I came to the Lord and surrendered to Him. And when I came to Him, the first thing He told me was, don't keep anything here, that's my space. I left it that day. And I have not even thought of keeping it. In fact, I've even forgotten about it, and suddenly in one meme I saw somebody kept it and it looked odd. And then the story, I reminded myself of that incident in my life. Right? So, are we even perceiving what He's doing in our life? Let us perceive it. And He can do it through you. Do you believe it? Okay, He'll do for me, but can He do it through me? Well, look at John chapter 14:12. Truly, truly, I say to you, whoever believes me, this is Jesus saying, also do the works that I do. Remember, He was healing the sick, delivering people from demons, right? He was making the blind see, the deaf hear, the mute speak, raising people up from the dead. Do you think you can do this? Well, if you say no, you're calling Jesus a liar. Because Jesus says, if you believe in me, you can do this and you will do much greater than I did. Because I'm going to the Father and I'm sending you the Holy Spirit. You're not doing it in your own strength again. You're going to be doing it in the strength of the Holy Spirit because He dwells in you. How many of us believe it? I know it is, a little scary. I know it looks like, Mia. No. But Jesus says you can do it. And again, you're not doing it alone. You're doing it in partnership with Him for His glory. Today, change your thinking. I also didn't believe it till the Lord showed me this a couple of years ago. Not that I've started walking and doing miracles, but I'm still in the believing phase, but I still believe it. But I haven't taken a step of faith. I need to do that.